Oh, yes, indeed. Ooh, I better turn that down. Yes, indeed. It's the Jim Freeland Show here at the Oracle Broadcast Network. All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can email me, truthrising@gmail.com. I will be, I'm going to actually start focusing my efforts to the Robin Freeland website. But in order to donate to the Robin Freeland Show, you go to the Robin Freeland Show, robinfreeland.com. In order to donate to the Jim Freeland Show, you go to againstthewall.info and then hit the show donation button. You can donate to the show. I'm going to add all. I'm going to condense everything to one spot, one site. Welcome to the show, Rob. Thanks for a great show. The Robin Freeland Show today was great. We did actually cover a bit of what there was out there in the news. Not a whole lot of front page news that doesn't involve Connecticut. Just to set the story straight, I am in the PSYOP camp. And I'll leave it at that, and we'll just wait for more info. I try not to choose sides. I try not to jump on any bandwagons. But I actually am in the second shooter PSYOP camp with this one, as with Aurora and Fort Hood and several others. That said, I'm not really going to talk about it right now because there's just so many, you just got to wait for the chaff to hit the ground before you can start sorting through it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll do that. I'll let you know right now that, I do, I am, or I do tend to lean towards the PSYOP. I don't even know for sure if there are any children that were killed. There's several different possibilities. We're just going to have to wait. I mean, obviously they're never going to come out and say, oh, no, look, there's no children shot, but we'll wait. I mean, I was watching a video yesterday of one of the fathers, and it literally did look like, an actor. He was giggling and laughing and smiling, and they said, you're up. And he did the whole, the whole get my game face on, and, So I'm gonna reserve my full on commentary for a while. This is all you're gonna hear about, probably every show, all day, every day for the next 2 weeks. Second shooter, this and all the different things. I mean, now it was predicted in the Black Knight movie. I mean, there's just all kinds of ridiculous Dallas Goldbug type freaking scenarios out there. So just wait, just be patient. Do your own research. Never discount anything. Never discount the fact that they do use actors from time to time. But, who knows? I certainly know that what you get from CNN is going to be drivel. Anyhow, we'll move on. I could go over a few of the facts, but I'm not going to. We're going to wait. They're just all going to keep changing. Let's see. Russia sends warships to Syria. I'm going to do a few headlines. I'll talk a little bit about not just me, but some of the other souls that I came across in the social services division for youth, and then later on as I moved on up the system. So Russia's getting ready for possible evacuation. Russia has a very large naval port in Syria. So they're getting ready. They're sending a warship. Who knows if they're getting ready to evacuate, getting ready to support, but it doesn't look like they're going to support Assad in any way. Don't know where you want to go with that one. But the thing of it is they are directly connected, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But for right now, nobody's going to be looking. Everybody's watching the smoke as it curls, from Connecticut. So all these other stories are just not going to be talked about. Everything is going to be gun control. Everything is going to be Connecticut. You're going to hear so much about Connecticut. it'll taste like crap coming out of your mouth. All right, so Syria sending warships to Russia. How about this one? Just finalized $2.2 billion deal means you're going to get mind-boggling mobile speeds. Sprint has now the wireless broadband service Clearwater marks a new frontier for wireless connectivity. So now, all right, yeah, Sprint has bought outright Clearwire, which is a service provider. We'll have to wait and see if that's really true. It's competition, baby. Free market, baby. Morgan Stanley fined $5 million in Massachusetts for their Facebook IPO fraud. Morgan Stanley handled the initial public offering. It cost investors billions of dollars. You know, they pulled the old okey doke. They pulled the old okey doke with fake orders and last second bulk orders to drive the price of the stock up because everybody wanted a piece of Facebook. And then, you know what I mean? Then they pulled back and they were like, oh, look, you paid what? $36 for this stock yesterday. Today it's worth $18. I'm not even sure what it's worth now. 12 maybe. Probably go up a little bit with Instagram. Either way, you got screwed. You got screwed. More violence that plagues Libya. Violence that wasn't there. Say what you want about Muammar Gaddafi. The people of Libya were well on their way to having somebody other than Muammar Gaddafi organically without the mayhem, the bedlam, and the mayhem they have now. And what do they have now? They've got an inserted Western puppet regime with a central bank. So there you go. They're moving in now the southern regions of Libya. The heroin comes from Afghanistan. If the stuff that the CIA doesn't just straight up fly out, gets smuggled through Pakistan, through Iran, through Iraq, through Libya, it just gets worse and worse. A guy like Muammar Gaddafi didn't have huge drug trafficking in Libya. He didn't have a lot of the problems that they're plagued with now. And if we had stayed out of Libya, he'd still probably be the leader. But they were having more and more elections. He was becoming more and more benevolent. And we stuck our nose in where it doesn't belong. Now, you know, I'm not saying anything about the religions, you know. Some people think Muslims are all dirty and smelly. Some people think, you know, Christians are dirty and smelly. But this is what we've done in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Libya, while we're doing it in Syria, in Libya, in Egypt, you know, Kosovo, Yemen, you name it. And this is what we're doing. Well, we'll wait and see what happens here, but I guarantee that they'll get a pipeline. They'll be selling their gas to the big four, the big sisters, which they already are. And you don't have to wait long for that one. All right, we'll move on. Let's see. What does this one entail? DOD whistleblower documents show intel withheld from 9/11 congressional investigators. Of course. Department of Defense Inspector General for Intelligence report declassified only months ago. Corroboration of the accusations of former acting chief. The Threats Division of the Joint Intelligence Command was told to stop tracking Osama bin Laden in the month. Yeah, we know this. We know about Able Danger. We know that Okay, so this really it's I'll what I'll do is I'll post this article. It's a good read. I'll post it. I just tweeted it. It'll be on the Jim Freeland Show Facebook page. I'll put it at against the wall. I'll throw it up on Robin Freeland. You'll be able to catch it. Hey, tomorrow's my birthday, but I will be live. It will not be a gay replay. Again, one last apology for yesterday's gay replay. But actually, if you went to UCY, it was just a gay J replay. Over at UCY, I was given a J back. I wasn't JJ Inc. I was Gay J Inc. And I was happy to be that. I get it, man. I really do. Trust me, people, folks. I really get it when you turn it on and you hear, you're like, oh, I really like this show. I really like JJ. What's that crazy idiot going to do today? What's that idiot going to say today? What kind of ridiculousness is going to come out of his mouth? And then you turn it on and it's some bullcrap ridiculousness that I had already said. It's a gay replay. And you're like, what? What? Rebroad. That's it. Gay Inc. But that's cool, man. I understand. I understand. I get the same way. I don't know why Fox News would be told not to talk about gun control. Probably because they don't need to. Probably because it's just going to happen. And if you look at the way they made their press conference, the post Sandy Hook press conferences are much like post 9/11 press conferences. You're either with us or you're with the terrorists. We're going to start doing something, and you're not going to do anything about it. And that's going to include you look and you watch already right now in Arizona, private people who are not officially trained or part of any law enforcement association, Wackenhut, corrections corporations, in conjunction with local law enforcement, are doing random searches of schools for drugs. And I would venture to say that very soon Blackwater will be working with local law enforcement along with other military dispatches, military, squadrons, platoons, whatever. They're going to be, I mean, people can poo-poo and foo-foo and, you can say, well, they do this all the time. Well, I'm telling you, JJ Inc., take this to the bank. Mr. Gay says this. You are in prison right now, and it's going to get worse. Random searches, looking for contraband, arresting, holding, detaining, handcuffing you for your own protection. Those are all freaking crap. Those are all things that inmates get done. That's all things they do to inmates when they're in prison. Cavity searches, open movement. We're going to have travel from this time to this time. There will be no travel on the streets between the hours of blah and the hours of blah. That's prison, man. That's your lockdown, baby. That's your lockdown. They tell you where your rec yard is. They tell you where you can go, where you can't go. I know you can still get a McRib and you can still play, Crackbox 3 or Crack Station 3, Crackbox 3D, whatever they call it, Crackbox 360. You still got all that. In Canada, you guys are really, really freaking free too. Yeah, you're the free, You're in prison. We're in prison here. The rec yard gets smaller and smaller. The rules and the regulations get more and more I don't want to use the same words that everybody uses, like draconian or anything like that, but yeah, let me just tell you, that's how it is. And I'll tell you a little bit about prison. It's not, it is and it isn't like it's portrayed on TV. I mean, first of all, it depends on your personality. Doing time is a lot like smoking weed for the, for the casual, occasional user. The effects are, can be quite dramatic and stupendous and life changing, or, but for a chronic user, the effects become less. I don't need a thesaurus. I use JJ quillisms, gay quillisms. Where was I now? Just before stupid Kurt interrupted me from upstairs in text form. He could have yelled down the stairs, but he didn't. Never mind. No, so now I really lost where I was going, but the more we allow, like for instance, troops on the streets that will question everybody. If you're walking your dog, you're gonna have to prove it. What do you mean? I've got my dog and I'm walking. What the hell more proof do you need than I got a dog and I'm walking, that I'm walking a dog? I mean, and the people there are the ones that need to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? The people there are the ones that need to do something about it. The idea. You send your kids to prison every day. In prison, there's just there's no laying around sleeping anymore. It's all about, you have to program. You either have to have a job or go to school. So you send your kid to school, and look, man, the school can do a lot of things, right? The school can have your children taken away from you. The school can have you investigated by CPS. You can have your child arrested for misbehaving. So you got a child that misbehaved, all right? You got a child that had to wear his bubble gum on his nose. And he says, you know what? Screw that. I'd rather just go down to the principal's office and sit there than stand here, I'm saying this because this is what I did. I wasn't going to stand there next to my desk in front of the class to be made a fool of by an adult. Screw you. Take this gum, shove it up your butt. I'll go down to the principal and I'll deal with him. But I'm not going to sit here and act like a scared little twit, or I'm not going to act like a compliant little doughboy. And I've never been like that. No, I've never been like the toughest guy. I'm not this, this real rebel or anything like that. I just don't like being told what to do. And I'm not going to be made a fool of by, just for the sake of, to teach me a lesson for, say, chewing gum in class. Well, so, that's where my issues with authority came. Now, if the teachers, I don't know. I'm not going to go into the gum on the nose thing, but suffices to say, when the teacher told me to stand up in fourth grade next to my desk, put the gum on the end of my nose, and then turn around so everybody could see me, I told her to stick it. I swallowed my gum, and that really pissed her off. I swallowed it, and she sent me to the principal's office. So anyways, as can happen, you become labeled. And I wasn't alone. There's a lot of other children that just didn't like to be told what to do. It wasn't necessarily noble or anything like that. I just wanted to be treated with respect when I was 8 years old, when I was 12, when I was 16, when I was 30, and now when I'm 44. And I don't just demand respect. I respect other people, and they therefore respect me for the most part. And those that don't weren't going to respect me anyways. So why waste any more time on them? I think you're getting my drift here. I would rather just take my ass whipping, rip the Band-Aid off, get it done, leave me alone. That's right. Now we move along. I'm not going to say that I was just like this little model little kid, but I was a good kid. I wouldn't be involved in vandalism. I was the guy who always stuck up for the nerds, who never, you didn't bully kids in front of me. If you did, then we were just going to go, um, but eventually, again, you know, and a lot of it has to do with my parents, not my mom. That everybody here knows. I was raised by my dad and his wife, and not that they did anything, horrible or anything like that. They were buffaloed. They were bulldog. They were bullied by the school, by CPS. They were scared. They were fooled into thinking that, look, we call your son has been labeled as a juvenile delinquent, and you've got other children, and for the sake of them, we need you to to cooperate with us. And on a personal level, sometimes I feel like I was sold out by my own father. On another level, I feel like, you know what? I understand what happens when the state comes and they apply pressure. I've seen pressure applied to people, to myself, on all different manners, on all different levels. Not everybody has the same ability to withstand the sort of pressure that can be brought about. Not everybody has the... That's my baby. That's Kurt upstairs. Killing me. You're killing me, dude. Trying to do a serious show down here. Oh, dear Lord. So, it's hard to lay blame. It's hard. Not everybody has the same ability to get back up after they've been pushed down. I mean, some people just, all their life, they have the strength to get back up. But every once in a while, and myself included, you get pushed down and you just lay there and you look up and you say, why? Am I going to get up again? Why? I'm just going to get pushed down again. Of course, I'm trying to make my life seem noble, but it really wasn't. I was labeled as a juvenile delinquent. The school initiated this because I didn't like to be told what to do. If I was bored, I'd leave. If they tried to put their hands on me, I fought back. Don't touch me. Don't ever, ever, ever touch me. Put your hands on me. Don't touch me. Don't even brush up against me. and they put me in a foster home. So here I am. Now, mind you, I'm not like this 18-year-old or 22-year-old. I'm just a little 12-year-old kid, man. And I look at my little girl and I say, there's no way. But you can't judge another person, my father included, by your own experience or what you feel that would been right or what you would do. I always thought if I was kidnapped, I'd, bust out into some Mac bowling crap and start karate chopping people. But that didn't work, or that didn't happen either. I played it out. I had to play that one out. We'll get to that story later if we have time and I get to the kidnapping of JJ. Not a lot of people have been kidnapped, beaten almost to death, rolled up into a sheet, and tossed into the salt flats. It's just not one of those things that happens in the normal course of a person's life, unless, and it's a vicious circle. It wasn't, I don't blame anyone for my life. I take full responsibility. There's always been a point where, maybe up until I was like 16, I might be able to lay some of the blame on, on people who didn't have a spine, or whatever. But no, there comes a point when you're responsible for your own actions. And, sometimes, it's a hard pill to swallow to say that you could have changed your own goddamn life instead of waiting for someone else to do it. And, So, I've mentioned that I grew up in a town where, it's straight out of a storybook. I had two younger sisters who I loved immensely, still do dearly. I have three sisters now, but at that point I only had two, and I loved them. My family was the only thing that mattered to me, and my friends. And I grew up in a storybook situation where I'm 44 years old now, and for 40 years, 41 years, I've known my best friend. We lived next door when I was a little boy, when I was 3 years old, and we've been best friends ever since. I still talk to him. In fact, he lives up the road, and I talk to him, and we go hang out, and we still go do the things we did when I was a little kid. When we were children, we go out into the woods, and we talk, and we we joke. We have our childhood. That's the one thing that I do have. Of all the things that I don't have, the one thing I do have is fond memories of my childhood. Not all of my childhood, you know what I mean? But I do have good ones. I mean, I lived in a town where on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, I was allowed to go outside, and the only rule was be home by 5. And the whole town was my playground. I could be anywhere. If you were to ask my parents or almost any kid's parents in my community, in my little town, at any given point during the day, if their children weren't in their own yard, where's your kids? They'd say, well, I know all the places to look for them, but no, I don't know exactly where they are. And they were still safe. We were safe. We got into fistfights. We had bullies. We played King of the Mountain. We joked. We laughed. I mean, it's just these are the normal things in life. But the school, the state screws it all up. The state destroys people. The state makes things safe for itself at the detriment of all people everywhere. To even the people in the state, even the people that work for the government, are in danger of the government. So at the age of 12, I was introduced to the fantastical world of the family court system. The fantastical world of family court, where, good Lord, things that you just could not imagine happen to parents, to families, to children, and I got taken away, man. They said, look, you're a troublemaker, you're a delinquent. I was 12 years old. My parents had gotten a lawyer to protect themselves, to represent themselves. And I said, well, if they don't want me, then I'll go. If my family doesn't want me, I'll go. And a 12-year-old boy, signed voluntary placement. And I went to foster care. But when I got there, I mean, guys, one of the most deepest, gut-wrenchingest pains that I've ever felt in my life, and agony that I felt for years and years and years, was the day that my mom and dad dropped off my suitcases, brought me a suitcase of clothes to a foster home. And I'll never forget that pain. Never forget that pain. It changed me right there, right then. Now the life of a delinquent. Stay tuned, guys. I'll try to wrap this up right after the break. I won't bore you. We'll get right to it. This is the Jim Freeland Show on the Oracle Broadcast Network.
You are listening to the home of Cutting Edge Talk Radio. This is OracleBroadcasting.com.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
The Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network is on a mission to bring you the best in cutting-edge talk radio. Oracle Broadcasting is a true beacon of free speech, uncensored news, and relevant information that depends on the support of listeners just like you. You can help us expand our reach and inform the masses. Promote the network by clicking the Socialize link on the left-hand side of the oraclebroadcasting.com website. Using the simple tools provided, it is easy to spread the word about Oracle Broadcasting on social networking websites, blogs, news feeds, and many other ways with just one click. You can also help by becoming an Oracle Broadcasting member today. For just $5 a month, you get access to the members stream that allows you to listen to all of the great shows from Oracle Broadcasting in 128K stereo CD audio quality. To find out more, go to oraclebroadcasting.com. And thank you for listening to the Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network.
Amazon.com has become a leader in online retail and is a place where people can find and discover virtually anything they want to buy. Amazon offers thousands of products including
books, movies, and music,
full range of electronics,
computer and office,
sports and outdoors,
dry storable and organic foods,
health and wellness,
survival and tactical gear,
home and garden, and much more.
Amazon not only offers over 10,000 online products, but also operates retail websites and offers programs that enable you to sell your products online.
By making your purchases through Amazon.oraclebroadcasting.com, a portion of each purchase goes to the Oracle Broadcasting Network.
Find great prices on hard-to-find items and help support Oracle Broadcasting at the same time. That website again is Amazon.oraclebroadcasting.com.
Back live with the Jim Freeland Show. Hope I haven't bored you. You know, I did sort of gloss over. I was given one last opportunity to comply, to be part of the frickin' game. They put me on Ritalin, and, you know, if I could just concentrate and if I could just do what I'm told, you know, things would be all right. I mean, you know, they put me on the Ritalin, and that shit literally made me crazy. It made me want to kill myself, I'll be honest with you. It made me want to, I'm not going to tell you that it was pretty, because it wasn't. And it didn't work. And I ended up in a foster home. And, you know, and it wasn't that the very first foster home I was at was a bad one. It was a temporary foster home. And then I went to another foster home. And by the time I got to the second one, I just already realized that it's just a series of hoops. that I'm going to have to jump through, that I'm never going to get back home. And I haven't lived at home since I was 12 years old. And most of those years I lived literally in a hole in the woods or in an abandoned building, or if it was 20 below zero, I'd try to get inside somewhere and I'd find a boiler room somewhere and I'd sleep there. So I go to the second foster home, and this is where I sort of realized that children are victimized all the time. It's where I started to see, where, in the system, other children, people that I would know, throughout the next few years in different facilities and different, a lot of them are dead now. A lot of them were just wasted lives that never amounted to anything. A lot of those, many actually did, man. I'm not a unique story at all. I've seen, and I'm going to tell you, right from day one, I learned that in the system, whether it's social services, Catholic charities, whether it's the Department for Youth, whether it's the Department of Corrections, there's only two kind of fish. When you get there, there's guppies and there's sharks. And you best do your damnedest not to be a guppy. Guppies get raped. Guppies get their shit took. Guppies get victimized. Guppies are the ones that we read about. Guppies are the ones that scumbags like Jerry Sandusky or, any number of other pedophiles, guppies, these troubled youths, these throwaway, disposable people, kids are just kids, many of them. I mean, look at it. We like to think, well, back 150 years ago when you were 12 years old, you were a man. Bull crap, man. You're just a little boy. Or girl. And you deserve love. All right? And you don't deserve to be in a system that just uses you up. It figures out which ones it can victimize and exploit. They couldn't exploit me. I ran. I'm a runaway. I decided, you know what? If I can't be with my family, I sure as hell am not going to be with somebody else's. I'm not going to live in a family. I mean, and you're in the system now. When you run away, you're a criminal. You're a fugitive. And I'm a 12-year-old fugitive living in the woods, eating out of dumpsters and, church, sneaking into the church and sneaking food out from their pantry or their kitchen. But in between each foster home, they put you in a lockup to wait for a bed because you're a criminal, because you didn't do what you were told. And I wouldn't take their drugs, and I wouldn't be told. I said, screw it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I know there's consequences. So they'd put me in another foster. I went to like 3 foster homes, and I ran from them all. And I'm not going to lie. I would wait until they'd get a check. In foster care, every 3 or 4 months, they get a check for you to buy clothes, to buy things, Christmas gifts and crap like that. And I'd wait until the check came, and I'd steal it, and I'd leave, and I'd go live in the woods. And then they put me in a group home. And just so that you don't, in case you don't understand, group homes are pretty much like little gladiator fight clubs. Again, guppies and sharks, guppies and sharks. No, I didn't look like a guppy, but or look like a shark, but I sure didn't act like a guppy either. By the time I was 16, I could bench press 275. But I was just a little kid, man. Just a little freaking kid. And they put you in fight club, you know what I mean? and with all these other little boys who are going to spend the rest of their life in and out of custody also. And they make money off you every time. And then I ran away just one too many times to where there were no more beds, no more group homes that wanted me. So I went to state school, the state school for boys, which is the maximum security lockup in New York State. And that was horrible. That's where I was introduced to some of the most heinous violence I've ever seen in my life. That was where I got a taste of violence, a taste of depravity, a taste of, some of the things that children that are forced to deal with grown-up issues, can do, man. And I sort of, I didn't excel, but I lifted weights and I played basketball and things like that. But there were always children, I'm not going to name any names, that were abused, not just by other children or other inmates, but by staff, by outside. I mean, you just think of it, man. Just think. People think, well, my kid's a ward of the state, but they're taking care of him. He's safe. No, they're not, man. They're being abused every single day, even if they happen to be in a in one of the very few good places with the good people. They're still being abused. They're still being institutionalized. They're still coming to the realization that there's something fundamentally wrong with them at their core, that they can't be part of society. They can't be part of a regular family. And they've been convinced of that. And then they kick them out into the streets, man. They set you loose. You're 16, we can't hold you. Good luck. Dems the brakes. And then so begins your life on the installment plan. Thus begins the life that, Jesus, so many freaking runaways, so many people, so many children. These are the children that get exploited. These are the children that become part of these pedophile rings that become... And no, it's not always rape. It's not always rape. Sometimes somebody can mess you up so much at the head, at the level of your head, and you can tell by the look in their eyes, they don't even know where they are. Because adults are more sophisticated than children. The system knows how to deal with them freaking kids. And they know how to deal with kids like me. I mean, I took every chance I got to escape that system. And I did, man. But a lot of people didn't. A lot of people couldn't. And, and I just don't know what to say sometimes. You take a guy who's 22 years old. He's in prison. He's had... he's done something horrible, or he's, just done a whole bunch of, not horrible things. And you call him a career criminal. But you never go back to the child and try to do something about that. Children being preyed upon by adults, by the system. It doesn't happen to every child. Just the guppies. But none of my guppy friends, because I wouldn't let it. I'd make them run away with me. Twice. Excuse me. And I'm told I was the ringleader of this escape from a freaking group home or a foster home. But I wasn't. But I did bring somebody with me a couple times because I saw what was going on. And yeah, man. No, we didn't live the high life, but we were free for a freaking minute. And it is what it is, man. I never just got so, so desperate that, I figured that, I won't lie. There were times in my life that, brief moments where I contemplated hurting myself, but, they were just very brief. And I, like most people who aren't on Paxil or Zoloft or Prozac, could never do it. Because I didn't want to die. I wanted attention. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be cared about. And just think, look, I just want everybody who listens to me right now, everybody who's never heard me before, who feels these emotions right now because of what happened to these young children, allegedly. Those emotions, those are real, man. And there's children all around planet Earth that deserve those emotions every bit as much as, just the ones here, and. And the juvenile delinquent or the juvenile detention center was one of the most violent places that I've ever been. Although I never saw anyone murdered until later on, until I made it to prison. I have saw some pretty hardcore, heinous attempted murders, and I've seen some pretty heinous victimization of people. You can't always do something. Sometimes there's nothing worse than to be traumatized by something that you can't do, that you can't stop. Why would we keep putting our children into these places, into these situations? And Lord only knows. If I'd have been on Prozac back then, I probably would have killed myself. But I always just loved to be alive. I just, it wasn't, the cup was half full, man. I was institutionalized by the time I was 16. I already knew as many people on the inside as I did on the outside. When I'd make it to a new facility, they'd be like, hey, Bob, John, Frank, look, it's Jim, dude. Hey, man. So you go, so you start out, and I'm not talking about violent people anymore. I mean, right now I'm talking about children in Division for Youth and Social Services, how they're treated like a number. They're not well taken care of. They're given so many calories a day as required by the state. They're not treated as though they're loved, as though they're children. They're treated as though they're property of the frickin' state. They'll do what they're told, or there will be consequences. Frankly, I would rather get out there, get into the woods, and and wait for the consequences. I wasn't just going to stand there and say, "All right, man, give it to me." My deal was always, "You're going on your check this week. You want to bring it to me, first thing you got to do is come find me." And man, I was a runner, dude, guys. I really was. I really was a runner. I would not, if I got the chance, I would bolt. And then so now you're introduced at the age of 16 to this larger industrial complex that involves not just custody, not just jail and later on in life private facilities, but drug rehabs and mental institutions and all manner of supervision, all manner of custody. And you're still a digit. It's a monetary value. And you're treated like your property. Now, in jail, yes. Like I said, jail is different for people. Jail, for the occasional user, is quite traumatic, is quite life-altering. Jail to the chronic user is a little less severe. You know, it takes a little less time to adjust. I mean, I'm likening this to pot smoking, but, you know, it's the same thing. If you're, you know, if you just try it once in a while, the effects are quite profound. If you use it chronically, less profound. So, you know, it's the children and it's the system that just eats them up and spits them out. Kurt was the last baby. Kurt. Doctor took one look at you, Kurt, and said, "Holy crap, I can't believe what I just did." No, I'm just kidding, man. Kurt, his wife, and their kids are awesome people, good friends, part of my family right now. Happy to have them. I was sort of an escape artist. Yeah, man, I've spent most of my life, you know, on the lam. Life on the lam. Now, I'll tell you something. Very exhilarating. Want to talk about being an adrenaline junkie? I mean, try hopping out a third floor or a second floor window and just getting out of there. Calling your buddy a couple days later and they're like, dude, they were down at the front door and then you were upstairs using the bathroom. Where the hell did you go? How'd you get out of here? I jumped off the 5th floor of a parking garage, off the top. The cops were like, they thought they had me cornered. They're like, we're up here. This is the 4th floor. It's like a 35, 40-foot drop. We got this guy. And, you know, there's this group. I mean, literally, there was like 15 cops standing there. And here I am, cornered. First, I ran to the stairway, and there was cops coming up the stairs. So I ran for the ramp, and there was cops coming up the ramp. And now they had me cornered. And, I mean, they saw me. They saw me put my legs over the side, and they were like, the cops were just looking at me like, no way, dude. Look down. There's no way you're going to do this. And I jumped. I jumped off the roof of that parking garage, 4 floors high, on the top deck. And I dropped and I rolled. When I looked up, those cops were like, oh, wow. They were just looking at me like, man, I can't believe you just did that. And I bolted. I was gone. Like a rabbit, like a cat, and a door slammed. I did get caught later on. I broke my ankle. Oh, man. But being on the land, man, was absolutely adrenaline rush. Hell yeah. It's freaking exhilarating to be on the fugitive watch list, to have the fugitive task force after you, and to be just one step ahead, you know? That is very exhilarating. That is, you know, I've never been very malicious at all. But the cops have always known, you know, well, it's our job to catch him, and apparently it's his job to get away. We're going to have to earn our check this week to get this little punk. It's much like being hunted. It really is, and it's very exhilarating. I'm not going to say it was, you know, you were like, man, I got to do this again. This was so great, but no, I landed on the grass. I landed in the grass, and the bus garage is still there, or the parking garage is still there. It was attached to a hospital. And probably somewhere in the Syracuse police force, there's a cop that still remembers that day, though it was 20-something years ago. when some crazy punk kid jumped off the roof of the parking garage and got away. Man, I could just imagine. Can you imagine? Oh, man. So, so you get to jail, all right? First of all, booking. When you get to booking, I always expect to look up and see Jesus Christ because everybody there is calling his name. If you're looking for Jesus Christ, he's at the booking department at your local sheriff's department. He's in booking. Because everybody's calling out for him there. And booking's a rough gig if you're a cop. Booking's a rough gig if you're an inmate. I mean, booking is exhausting. But once you get inside a facility, a whole new world. It's a whole new world. You have no protection whatsoever. You are your own protection. And like I said, there's guppies and there's sharks. And you don't have to be one of them sharks that goes out looking for victims, but you best make sure that you're not a guppy. Enough of the guppy talk. All right. Well, there came a point. Look, I've never done anything morally reprehensible. There are, like everybody, things that, I wish I hadn't done. If I had my life to change, I really don't know if I would. Not now. I'm here. I made it. Pain. Geo, pain is what caused me to change my life. Because I told you about that pain. The love I had for my sisters and for my mom and dad. Real love, not like, hey, I mean love that you can actually feel in your heart and your soul and your body. And when I lost that day when I was 12 years old, I never thought I could feel a pain like that. And well, when I was 30, I got arrested a couple of weeks before my daughter's first birthday, and I felt that pain again. And you know what? I never took another drink after that. I've never been questioned. I've never been arrested. Thank you, guys. Sorry I bored you. I intended not to really talk about it the whole show. It's been the Jim Freeland Show. I'll be live tomorrow. No more gay replays. It's been the Jim Freeland Show at the Oracle Broadcast Network.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food is grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powders, seeds, and oil can do for you. HempUSA.org has a revolutionary wonder food for detoxing the body and rebuilding the immune system. Microplant powder can help unclog arteries and soften heart valves while removing heavy metals, virus, fungus, bacteria, and parasites. Plus, it cleans and purifies the blood, lungs, stomach, and colon. Keep your body clean with Microplant powder. Visit us at HempUSA.org or call 908-691-2608 today.
AG is the symbol for silver on the periodic table of elements. And now, silvercoins.ag is the web address for buying silver coins close to melt value. Thanks to and because of you, the Oracle listeners, silvercoins.ag has massively upgraded their website with innovative features so you can get inexpensive silver. Silvercoins.ag now features streaming metal prices and streaming silver coin melt values. Silvercoins.ag now serves online retailers for silver coin bargains every minute of the day and finds great deals based on those silver coin melt values. Plus, Silvercoins.ag has expanded their extensive background history, composition, and data articles on silver coins and genres. So stop the endless web surfing for silver coin deals because now you can visit and bookmark Silvercoins.ag. For silver coins close to melt, go to silvercoins.ag.
You are listening to the home of